Hello, welcome or welcome back to my channel. It's by Mandy. My name is Amanda and welcome back to another podcast episode. Thank you to Hooks and Needles for sponsoring this video. In these chatty episodes, we go through some of my finished objects, my whips, recent acquisitions, as well as maybe a little media review section at the end for a little bit of fun. I do have some fun and exciting project updates. I feel like my creativity has really started to come back to me this month, which has been really exciting. I'm really looking forward to the holiday season to kind of lean into the holiday spirit, to get cozy, like feel that like warm inside winter feeling of it like being dark at 5 p.m. and I'm on the couch knitting. I actually really love that. So that's kind of the energy and vibe, although I'm in a very sunny, bright room. Before we get started, I am wearing the Folklore cardigan. I actually finished this around the holidays last year. This is the Amy Gunderson paid pattern, and I knit this in Kelborn Woolen Scout in, I think, natural in their charcoal heather. It's easily one of my most favorite pieces. I get a lot of compliments on it. It's definitely like my most intricate and work intensive piece that I've made. It's completely cabled and completely paneled, and I just love this sweater so much. We're spending a week with my fiance's family for Thanksgiving, and I was like looking at all my sweaters like, I can't bring all of you, but I really want to. But the Folklore cardigan is making the cut for sure. First thing I want to show you is my Stella quilt blanket progress because I have almost finished my first square. I'm very close. It is scrumptious. Let me show you. So I embarked on this large project. I've been collecting mini skeins, as you may know, really for like over a year, and I wanted to do the first square in my favorite colors. The last time I saw you, the progress that you saw, I actually had to rip back because my gauge was off. I had to restart this square and like actually like do things by the book. I kind of wanted to skirt by without doing that, and of course, you know, like that always comes back to bite you. But we're doing it right this time. My gauge is right. Things are lining up a lot better. The yardage counts are also good where I'm having like a little bit of the scraps left over. We'll get into that, but this is the progress so far. As you can see, I'm almost done. And I just have 2 more squares. This is, I mean, technically the top from the way that I'm knitting, but I have 2 more squares to finish. So just this pink one and then a final white corner on the end. And I'm just absolutely so happy with how all the colors are coming together. This has been such a like rejuvenating project to work on. It's been very meditative. It's so like easy to slip in and out of in that way. I've never worked with I think this many colors on a project at once, so I'm also really enjoying like being able to switch colors and just see how the different color stories come together. First, I think I was planning on having all of these colors kind of more in a gradient, but she says in the pattern, especially for this motif, you kind of want a little bit of contrast so you can really distinguish the pattern. Sorry. So you can really distinguish, I feel so spooky. So you can distinguish the pattern and like each different section from each other. So at first I wasn't like really sure how I liked this vibe, but I am really liking it. So I'm very, very close to being done with this square. I'm also really happy with just like the size of this. I feel like this is a very good size, and as far as like constructing a blanket goes, if I just have 9 of these, like I think I'll be happy. I'm thinking more and more that I want to make the 12 square blanket and just like have this giant blanket, but I'm gonna start with 9 and I can always add on throughout my life, and we'll just see how far I think I get in the project. I mentioned before about the yarn weight was that you need to, what I would recommend if you're starting this pattern, she recommends weighing your first triangle to see how much weight it takes, because everything's really done by weight because you can either use a DK or fingering weight, so she just gives you grams, which I find to be helpful, and a mini skein is 20 grams, so the most amount that your one triangle, so like one section of this blanket should weigh is like 8 grams. And she explains this all in a video. This isn't like proprietary information. Laura Penrose of Penrose Knits. It should be 8 grams. So then you put 8 and 8 together. That's still 16. So you have, technically, you should have 4 grams left over, which you could then pair with another 4-gram scrap and have 8 grams for more squares. So I didn't even like consider that possibility. This is how much I have left of some yarn as an example. I haven't weighed it yet, but I think it's either more than 4 or like it's close. It's definitely at least 4, but if not more. Because I definitely, after overshooting the grams and the yardage, I wanted to make sure that I had enough. I'd basically gotten to like one of these points where you're using 2 colors in one square, and I ran out of my like the second color, so like the second amount, and that's when I knew I had to readjust. But I'm glad I did. The pattern's also very easy to modify, so I didn't go fully to the small. There's like a small stitch count and a large stitch count. I did actually somewhere in the middle. So right now I'm actually doing 35 stitches as like the maximum width of each square, and it's actually like the perfect amount. The texture is just amazing. I know it's garter stitch. I know it's so basic. I'm just really happy with it. I'm so excited to see how this comes together. And this is what the back looks like. It's actually not that bad, right? Right? Last thing, fun fact, if you all remember my Harlow v-neck sweater, I'll put up a picture. I actually ended up putting some of that yarn right here, because the other thing I realized, and I'll talk about this in my vlog too, is that I had originally made the bundles for 7 colors. Man, it's a symmetrical star. Like it's 8. It's 8 colors. I don't know why. I don't know where my math went wrong. It's not my strong suit. 8. So I'm feeling okay about that. I think I have enough scraps and I can like rearrange the bundles, that I'm not too worried about that. I just thought it'd be fun to put in one of my sweater pieces. It is a merino, but it's a yarn that's like merino and superwash. So I'm gonna try to keep things superwash as I bring them in. Again, I like don't want things to felt later on in my life. So I wasn't too worried about this one felting, since it does have some superwash content, and I've seen how my Harlow sweater has worn over time, which is like beautifully. It is the most durable, like stunning yarn. Anyway, this is the Primrose Yarn Co. Roan DK. I need to get my hands on this again because it's like, so it was like expensive, but it looks so good. Don't you hate that? Anyway, before we move on, I want to show you my next like set of colors, just like a little sneak preview. So I actually just did some rejiggering and realigning of my bundles right before I started filming this, because again, my counts were off and I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. So this, and of course if I want to start this project over Thanksgiving, I need new bundles. So this is the current lineup. Oh my goodness. I don't know how I'm ever going to learn how to hold these white. I'm going to do this palette of blues, greens, dark deep tones, and I think this will be another really pretty star. Just kind of decided this morning. I want to lean maybe into like the seasons when I pick the colors of like when I decide to knit them. I knitted this one because I needed my favorite colors to start, but I feel like this feels, I mean, what do you feel? I feel like this still feels like pretty solidly autumn. I know it's like the end of November, but then I have some like really blue icy tones for maybe January, depending on how long this takes me. I'm hoping to like have it done like quicker than a month per square, but that's the next little sneak peek for the Stella quilt blanket. The next item I have is actually brought to you by this video's sponsors, Hooks and Needles. Hooks and Needles is a monthly knitting or crochet subscriber box where crafters can get access to all the tools they need to start either beginner projects or improve their skills. So given that Hooks and Needles provides crochet and knitting boxes, I decided to push myself outside of my comfort zone and kind of put myself in the shoes of a beginner again, and I ordered their first box in their crochet series. The boxes are actually sent sequentially, so if you're a true beginner, they take you along the journey from the very beginning, also help provide you with materials to complete your craft. Everything that you need comes in a box like this, and in this month I got a crochet magazine that includes includes 3 different patterns as well as different articles, which I think is a really nice touch. I got 3 balls of Italian merino wool in a blue color and a gray color. I also got 2 sets of notions, which I was like very delighted with. I got a set of embroidery needles, which you always need more of because they're always running away from me, and also a really pretty pair of little scissors, which I actually needed because I just lost mine. Here's another look at what the crochet magazine looks like. You have a choice of 3 patterns that range in difficulties. And I'll be honest with you all, I really wanted to go in and try the more advanced pattern, which was this little basket made with the basket weave stitch. I was really excited about it, and my crochet skills are not there yet, but that's what I really liked and appreciated about this box, was there was an easier option for me. I could kind of work up my skills and kind of get refamiliarized with crochet. So instead I decided to make the sailor knot headband from. This is my completed headband, which I actually think turned out pretty cute. One of the main differences in like this in the picture is that my crochet gauge is very, very tight, and that's also what made making the basket a little bit difficult for me, and that's just something I think I need to work on as I crochet. But here's what the headband looks like on, and I feel like on it's actually like quite darling and cute. It kind of reminds me of like boho headbands I would wear when I was younger. Overall, like, it's a very cute project, not bad for not having crocheted in 2 years, and I really appreciated this opportunity to kind of dive into another skill I don't know as much about. I think these boxes are good for a few purposes. One, if you're a true beginner, if you are a knitter and you want to learn how to maybe crochet better, or you're a crocheter, you want to learn how to knit better, I think these would be very helpful. They would be great as a gift for anyone in your life, especially anyone that's like, could you teach me how to knit? Could you teach me how to crochet? I think this would be a great thing. Maybe you could do it together as like a knit along, a mini knit along, or make along. I also think the finished objects would make great gifts as well. I really appreciate kind of the abundance of options in the magazine, and I also really appreciate that there's a QR code in the magazine as well with every craft that links to a video. So thank you again to Hooks and Needles for sponsoring this video. If you would like to get your own Hooks and Needles box, you can click the link in the description. I have one more whip that I literally just cast on last night to share with you, and that is the Amy sweater by petiteknit. This is definitely something that I have been influenced to knit. I have had a sweaters quantity of pure gynt in this like amazing purple color, just kind of wasting away in my stash, and I decided to cast it on last night for a little like dopamine cast on, to be honest. It's a DK worsted weight. Pure gynt's technically a DK, but like it's quite thick. It's a double ribbed turtleneck and details, as well as like a little garter stitch as well. Sometimes like you just need the simplicity of a raglan sweater, and I think this will also be a good thing to have on my needles as I'm rounding out the year. I also think, as much as I have a lot of enthusiasm for the Stella quilt blanket right now, I think I want something to take breaks from it because it might get a little repetitive. So I wanted to be able to, one, like know I'm putting this yarn towards something and cast it on. My thing that I really need to get done, I think in this next week or for the holidays, is I need to decide on a new interchangeable set. So right now I put these on some fixed circulars that I bought like when I started knitting, and they're like broken a bunch of 4mm needles from my like composite set over the years, and I think it's finally time for me to move to metal needles. Just like heavily debating, just like biting the bullet and getting a Chaya Goo set or something like that. Something that will last me, because I am too tough on my things. I am really like a wood needle girl, but it might be time for me to make a change, because I like cast these on and I was like, this is rough. Like this is not it. So I'm interested, what is like a needle review video something that you would be interested in seeing? I feel like needles are like super personal. It's something that's like a super personal choice, what material that you like to knit with. But it's something that I feel like I've tried out yarns, but I've had like the same set I think for almost 2 years. I bought it I think for Black Friday, the set that I have, now that I think about it. I bought it like 2 years ago. So I think it's time for me to get an upgrade and have something that's more durable, because at some point it's like not cost effective to keep like shipping Knit Pro needles from Etsy because I can't buy them like from a distributor. I think what I could do is, I think the Knit Pro and the Knit Picks sets are actually kind of similar. But anyway, if you have a favorite needle set, let me know. I think I also crowdsourced this information like a while ago, but I'm curious to see what you, that was on Instagram, so I'm curious to see what you all think. Something that I have just kind of like kicked down the road because I'm like, oh, I don't need it. Like they're still in good shape. Like I don't need new needles. They're still in good shape. But I cast this on and I was like, I can't find my 4mm needle. I don't want to buy another one just for me to break it again. It is time. So that is on my to-do list, I think, for the end of the year. So the next thing I have is a recent acquisition. It was actually a gift that my aunt gave me. We were recently home for Thanksgiving, and my aunt is the sweetest. Like, she's very much the cool aunt, always had like a little fun gift for us growing up, and she gifted me the Gilmore Girls knitting book, which I'm like so excited about. It's a very adorable book that has a bunch of knitting patterns inspired from Gilmore Girls. I think I also saw Jenny of Future Fibre talking about this book. This is such a great gift because this is not something that I probably would have bought myself, but it was really nice to receive it as a gift. I just kind of want to give you a preview of some of the cute patterns. So some of them are inspired by the show, and like only a few I would say are like direct replicas of something in the show. The one thing that this book is missing is Rory's cabled sweater. That was kind of like a bummer not to see that because it's such an iconic piece of knitwear, but they didn't ask me, and they should have, but it's fine. Maybe we'll get them in the next one. Anyway, this is one of my favorites. This is like a newsprint inspired hat. A lot of these rely on a lot of color work. Like, so there's a bunch of charts. This just looks like Morse code to me. But a bunch of charts in the books as well. My aunt did request a project, and I will so willingly oblige because this was such a sweet gift. And she wants me to make her the Oi with the Poodles Already cow. And if you don't watch Gilmore Girls, this probably sounds like gibberish, but if you know, you know. With the Poodles Already cow, it has letters. I've never done lettering in colorwork, so that will be fun. And then this little poodle motif, which is so cute. So I think my aunt wanted me to get her like do this in navy and white, and so I'm not sure if I'll get that done for the holidays, but we'll definitely want to cast that on and like source yarn for that soon, and that would be a really fun project. Of this plaid like Chilton inspired cow, which I think is really pretty. I'm also not a sock knitter, but there's a sock pattern in here that I really would make, and it's the coffee sock pattern. It has little coffee mugs on it. Like, it's really cute. So I just wanted to share this. I don't know, it was like a fun little gift. I like geeking out on nerdy things, or like on nitty things like this. The last one, Babette ate oatmeal pillow. Again, like, you probably, if you don't know the show, this is insane. You just have to watch the show. It's the perfect time of year to watch it. But yeah, lots of cute patterns, really sweet gifts. So thank you to my aunt if you're watching for the book, and I'll get working on your cow soon. And that's basically it for what I have for kind of wrapping up towards the end of the year. I'm really happy to kind of be feeling in my groove again. I'm heavily looking forward to the time after Christmas where I can just watch old movies with my mom and knit on the couch. Like, that's what's really getting me through these trying times. And we'll also have some time over the Thanksgiving holiday to work on knits as well. So I'm hoping you, oh my gosh, guys. I almost forgot the media review section. That's crazy. In the media review section, we are in kind of a golden age of Real Housewives right now. There are 4 really good Housewives franchises on right now. 5 if you count New Real Housewives of New York, which I'm not watching. I won't. I started to watch it and I stopped at the episode where they were asking why Rebecca Minkoff is a Scientologist in a Blade helicopter. I stopped watching. So let's just like briefly touch on and review my favorite housewives, see what they're up to. So in Real Housewives of Orange County, we're at the reunion. I haven't watched the last episode of the reunion yet, but I think Shannon Beador is having her moment. It's so interesting to see a kind of classically unliked person become the hero of a series just by nature of like a person coming in and trying to like basically co-opt their fame and co-opt their show. Like the whole John Jansen and Alexis Bellino thing is absolutely wild. If you're not acquainted with the Real Housewives of Orange County, it's actually the original Real Housewives franchise. It started actually filming like groups of women in a gay community and then like kind of became this bigger thing. Anyway, Shannon Beador has been on the show for a while. She's gotten divorced on the show. This woman like has an almost like comedic Shakespearean amount of trial and tribulations in her life. We've seen her go through a divorce. She started dating this man, John Jansen, and then they broke up and she had a DUI, which is like not a good look for Shannon. I do not support that at all. They broke up, she got a DUI like that night. Then it's announced that John Jansen's new girlfriend, Alexis Bellino, who was a previous Orange County cast member, is coming back on the show as a friend of. So Shannon has been now on the show with her ex's new girlfriend, and if that's not enough, her ex-boyfriend is trying to sue her for $75,000 that he allegedly loaned her for a facelift. And that's the premise of the Orange County season. It's wild. Also, a potential tie to an MLB embezzlement gambling scam, which I got to bring my fiance in on that. I said, this is the guy that's tied to that baseball player. That was kind of interesting, allegedly. And it's just like a really good cast. I think it's a really classic cast. I really enjoyed Shannon this season. I really enjoyed Jen, like, freaking out at Tamara. The Katie and Heather thing leaves me feeling, like, a little odd. I want to like Katie. I do. But I'm kind of, like, I'm not sure. But I'm also kind of, like, anyone that, like, any new housewife that comes in and kind of takes down an OG is commendable. It's kind of what you have to do to stay on the show as a new housewife. Often they have kind of new characters come in and they don't make much of a wave. And if you don't, like, that's your first and last season. Sorry. Speaking of new housewives on the show making a wave, Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, I am caught up, and I just watched the Bronwyn in her little, like, tiny little ponytail and her little baby bang, like, really going for Heather Gay. It's been fun to watch, I'll be honest. I really liked Heather Gay when the show started, but as more and more I've watched her, it's become very clear that all she really seeks and, like, wants in life is, like, popularity and approval from the popular girls, which are like Lisa Barlow and Meredith Marks, and she'll like do anything for it. I know that they've been through a lot together, but like you were also besties with Jen Shaw, girl. Like you knew what was going on. So that's interesting. I mean, does Bronwyn's husband like ick me out a little? Yeah, when Bronwyn was like, I had a talking to Meredith, did that make me go, yeah. But hey, that's between her and her private jet and her $4 million necklace and her really old husband. Who am I to judge? Beverly Hills just started. I'm really here for activated Dorit, for divorced Dorit. I also just love to see Sutton and Garcelle back on my screen. They're like two of my favorite characters. I love their dynamic, and I wish Morgan Wade was on the show. I'll say it. I wish Kyle and Morgan were having their journey on our screens, but I can understand why you wouldn't want to do that and have the entire Bravo universe looking at you as you discover your sexuality post-divorce to Mauricio. I get it. But again, guys, like, you need to watch these shows. Like, you gotta watch. It's so good. In Beverly Hills, last year, this other woman was going through a divorce. They're all divorced now. Basically, if you're on these shows long enough, all of your marriages will end. It's literally Shakespearean. But you'll have fame. and you'll have money and notoriety, but like you'll be divorced, which again, maybe it wasn't a happy marriage, whatever. She gets divorced. She then starts hanging out with this country singer, Morgan Wade, and posts a video of them, like a music video of them, like very like, oh, they're together. Kyle, we didn't know you like that. And now Kyle's kind of like pulling the brakes because I think, understandably, it's a lot. And as Garcelle said in her confessional, Kyle doesn't owe an explanation about her sexuality to anyone, but inquiring minds would like to know. And that's kind of how I feel. And lastly, what is the last? Oh, Potomac. Potomac's on. I did not finish Potomac last season. I have to watch Potomac though. It's my hometown season. Like, it's my hometown franchise. And it's another season entrenched by a DUI, which I don't, again, like, I don't love. It is, I think, it kind of toes the line. I feel like Bravo for the past few seasons and a few franchises has kind of been like a little true crime with like the Jen Shaw of it all, the Erica Girardi, Tom Girardi of it all. It's gotten like really real in a way that's like, ooh, it's kind of real. Where the DUI kind of like, it's like here, where it's obviously bad. It's like, obviously, again, don't support it. It's not great, but like people, it's not defrauding like thousands of elderly people through like a phone scam. It's different. It's just different. But Shannon on OC had one. Karen allegedly on Potomac had one, and seeing them, I think, navigate them is very interesting. I find Mia forever to be fascinating. I am really missing Candace's like quips, and also like, say what you want, I love Giselle. I love seeing Giselle and her family. I love seeing her and her daughters. I think she's a really good mom. She's a very messy cast member that I think also like protects a lot of her own life, but I love her. I love her. I need her. I've been enjoying Potomac. I will always, not always, I didn't watch the last season, but like always try. But the last season was the first one out of like all of them where I was like, I cannot finish this. It's not good. Not good at all. That is once again my humble plea for you to start watching The Real Housewives. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you again to Hooks and Needles for sponsoring this video, and I hope to see y'all soon. I didn't even mention this. I think I might try to do Vlogmas again. I put it at the end of the video, so you can't really hold me to it. But I would love to do weekly vlogs. I'm gonna really try to do it come December. So we'll see. But thank you again. I hope you all stay happy and safe, and I'll see y'all later. Bye!